figuring out how we're going to manage this, especially in the face of the challenges posed by climate change. Second, education. We need to focus on really helping people understand the relationship between what they use and the water sources. A lot of us, it's the old, you don't know where your groceries come from. You don't necessarily know where your water comes from either, unless it's a well in your own backyard in rural Vermont. If you're sitting in Atlanta, Georgia, do you really understand that a large reservoir 30 miles away is the source of your water, and that water is also needed by endangered fish in Florida? So it's very important to establish those connections for people, and also to help people understand the economic and social issues associated with those. With respect to management then, which research and education need to feed into, we need to allocate, by necessity, you have to allocate and manage water at a local or regional scale, but you need to understand it at a watershed scale, to understand where it's coming from, to understand what the impacts of variability are going to be, and also to understand the connectivity of systems. Watersheds are connected to each other, and they have to be prioritized in decision making, and we have to think very hard about the trade-offs between water availability for our use versus that of other organisms, which of course ultimately culminates in policy. Again, throughout this we're trying to connect back to what are the impacts on policy. And here, one interesting insight that had not occurred to me in advance of this workshop, but came through because we had lawyers and social scientists there in addition to ecologists, is that drought doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. It has hydrological, ecological, meteorological, and sociological dimensions. What we would consider a drought in Burlington, Vermont is not the same thing that necessarily a farmer in the Champlain Valley would experience, much less what